Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host, identifying as the Barstool Cougar. Every Wednesday, you can meet me here to talk about important things and important people. It's going to be interesting to see what 44-year-old Dave Portnoy thinks of Kirk Minahan's new content. I'm not talking about the Real Case podcast that's scheduled to premiere any second now. I'm talking about real lawsuits, an even newer offering of the Kirk Minahan brand featuring the latest claims by Julie DeCaro of copyright infringement. The first lawsuit against Barstool, thanks to Minihane, made it to the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, but this time it seems he wants to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to fight for his rights to journalistic expression. Who knew Kirk Minahan would become a freedom fighter for the First Amendment? It was like the second after Kirk Minahan was hired, he impersonated a Boston Globe reporter to get an interview with the mayor of Somerville, Joe Curtatone, who sued Barstool under the state's wiretapping statute. And he won. Minihane tricked Curtatone by lying, and he's a hero. The case is reported, meaning it stands as precedent for the proposition that sometimes flying by the seat of your pants in the name of content pays off. This time, it's different. Minihane is not pretending. He's actually going nuts live, fighting for his rights to express how much he hates Julie DeCaro and her stupid fucking book. He's going big, flipping her the proverbial bird. The Kirk Minahan Show is sponsoring a 5K run to raise money for social justice that will feature a Julie DeCaro book burning at the finish. I mean, talk about fun. You know there'll be hoodies. So, who is Julie DeCaro? Who cares? She's a woman having a moment, so she's fair game in the culture wars. DiCaro recently released a book. It's called Sideline, Sports Culture and Being a Woman in America, and she's buzzing all around the media talking about her book. I heard Julie DeCaro talking with my favorite NPR host, Michelle Martin. Julie DeCaro is also a long-standing enemy of the Kirk Minahan Show. Why Julie DeCaro is a long-standing enemy of the Kirk Minahan Show, it doesn't really matter. In the world of social media, the hunt is for numbers. You just need enemies. The Kirk Minahan Show is a soap opera for men, primarily a reality show, and they like to fight battles online. So while Kirk and Steve were busy producing the case for content, Kirk had beloved intern Justin read Julie DeCaro's book out loud on YouTube for like 7 hours, and guess what? DiCaro cried, copyright. Hello? And the YouTube videos were taken down, but the fight's not over, and DiCaro's star is rising higher. And the righteous mobs who love to hate Barstool Sports are right there with her. So it's a win-win, really. Kirk's got his people activated, and Julie DeCaro's got her people abuzz. But word on the street is both sides are lawyering up. When you boil it down, the legal issue is whether Kirk Minahan has a right protected by the First Amendment to say during or after Justin's reading of DeCaro's book something like, quote, Julie DeCaro's book is the stupidest fucking thing I have ever read, and she is a fat, disgusting pig who I hope gets the runs from a vicious stomach bug that will live as a nasty one-eyed worm forever in her large intestine. Let's just say that's what he said after Justin read the book out loud. Whether that's like him being a critic and therefore fair use of her copyrighted material, or whether Julie DeCaro is protected under copyright laws from not having Justin perform the reading of her book online without her permission or a license. What's funny is that Donald Trump's conservative Supreme Court, SCOTUS with Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh and the gang, that court could be the court that decides whether trolling on Twitter constitutes criticism and therefore fair use of DiCaro's otherwise copyrighted book. I mean, that's ironic, don't you think? So karma really is a bitch, and her name this week is Julie DeCaro. But it doesn't really matter the outcome of the civil litigation because it's transactional. Money will flow. Minihane and DiCaro can monetize the long protracted lawsuit. The question, and this is the big question, is what a book burning will do to Dave Portnoy's Dazzle, because his star is rising way, way higher than Minihane or DiCaro's. Dave Portnoy is having a moment, but it's more like a year. He's leaving New York City. He's moving to Miami to get away from the woke babies in the Manhattan office and guys like Lazy Large, apparently. I mean, who knew Large was lazy? I never thought Large was. I don't think Large is lazy. Dave does, I guess. It's the end of an era, Portnoy says. He's growing up and going places despite, what the crying, Barstool babies might be doing. So growing hurts. That's why they call it growing pains. So will Barstool bless a book burning of a book by a female sports journalist? Would that tarnish Dave's shiny new power brand? I mean, he is the tycoon of Wall Street, even though he lives in Miami. Book burning could be good content, but it could get weird. I mean, what happens if Don Jr. and the Proud Boys show up? Then what do you do? And what would sizzling Dua Lipa think? Will a Barstool book burning snuff out Dave's chances of a hot date? The Minifans, as fans of the Kirk Minahan show are a cult and will do battle online with DiCaro and her disciples for shits and giggles. They have nothing else to do. Fighting for Kirk is what they say they like, but really it has nothing to do with Julie DeCaro. It's about them. In their hearts, they're fighting each other for Kirk's attention. It's a reality show within a reality show, and they're all in therapy as far as I can tell. Even the kid Justin, who, the intern who read DiCaro's book for 7 hours as a job before being dragged into a copyright infringement case, he's in therapy. I mean, his medical records, I bet, going to be published as content. You watch, and you will watch, and that is Kirk Minahan's magic, is gripping content showcasing the fragility of the male psyche. So, what will not crazy Dave do? Will he put the kibosh on the DiCaro book burning to up his odds of a hot date? It could happen. Minahan's move might then be to live stream the imminent nervous breakdown that will follow, and maybe even broadcast his own therapy about battle scars he has as the cultural warrior of all time. Kirk to the brink and back, live. The Minifans will love it. Coming to May 1st. April 1st, it's going to be a big day for us here on the Smugsy Show. That's the day the Smugsy Show OnlyFans premiere photo exhibit will drop. Follow the Smugsy Show on OnlyFans at Smugsy Girl. We're putting together a powerful exhibit to showcase what we think are some pretty strong political statements about cancel culture, as well as comment on and, parody the Kirk Minahan show and Barstool Sports. I think you're going to find it very intellectually stimulating, and I hope you like it. Also on April 1st, the Token CEO podcast Facebook group page is supposed to give me back commenting privileges, again, as a member of the group and as a big fan, of Erica Nardini and the Token CEO podcast. As you may recall, I was silenced for having an opinion as a woman fan of Barstool who loves dogs by this group. So, what to say on April 1st? Well, I didn't know, so I took it to you, our fans. The poll question last week was, when commenting privileges get restored on the Token CEO podcast group page, Smugsy should A, apologize, B, post her own content like everyone else, or C, say, fuck off spineless babies. C was the favorite. 60% supported fuck off spineless babies. So, we'll see. Get it? No, they won't either. The Facebook group babies, but I'll keep trying. Maybe they'll get this. What do you call a dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary? A thesaurus. What do you Why did the Zen master refuse Novocaine when he had his tooth pulled? He wanted to transcend dental medication. I used to be a banker, but lost interest. She was only a whiskey maker, but he loved her still. That's it for this week's show. The Smugsy Show is brought to you by Smug Siggy's sleek and elegant ciggies made with organic cannabis rolled in our delicate sheets of locally sourced all-natural paper. Look for Smug Siggy's in the indigo and marigold packs. Subscribe to the Smugsy Show on YouTube. Leave a comment, please. Follow me on Smugsy. Follow me on Twitter at SmugsyGirl. Follow me in the clubhouse at Smugsy. Find all your favorite show content in Smugsy Studio at syndicatemedia.net. And until next time, this is Smugsy signing off. Take care.